I'm Anthony.
I'm Cassandra.
Nikki. And our topic was homeless people around the Bay Area are lonely and lack basic necessities year round. So we're going to try to see how we can help improve their situation. So I found that the homeless people don't necessarily have fresh water for them to clean themselves in, and then they don't have warm food, especially during the holidays. The cold weather, it's really hard for them to find this warm stuff because they don't have anything to heat it up with, or they just don't have these basic things that they should have as a human. So I think
narrowing down on what they need.
Yeah, what they need.
Yeah, adding on to that, as I was doing research, I found out that I didn't even think about was it affects women a lot because when they get their menstrual cycle, they can't buy the things they need, which I had never even thought about. It's just not about on an article on the Bustle on the website. This they explained that they either have to provide more if they're hungry or if they really need to be getting the needs that they need for the monthly cycle.
Yeah, going off of that, I found an article too online. Talks about how a lot of these individuals that are homeless, they do lack basic necessities. It's kind of sad, but I guess now there's a lot of teens that are kind of looking at other resources, how to get those basic necessities, and they basically they kind of do whatever they need to do to get those necessities. One of the articles that I read, it talked about how basically some here it is. Oh, many young youth engage in delinquent activities or service. And by service, that means they start having sex for these basic necessities that some of us have, and they don't have. I think that's pretty sad, and that was pretty eye-opening. And I'm pretty sure it's not just the youth. I'm pretty sure it's expanding to kind of everyone in general, because it's kind of like, hey, I need that. I don't have it. I don't have money, so I need to get it.
And touching on the youth, I found a study on homeless research, and it was talking a lot about foster kids and kids in orphanages and stuff as well. Saying that when they're 18, they're basically kicked out and on their own. So I know it talks about education and stuff like that, but because they're lacking education in that, then they're falling more into those lines of selling themselves basically to just make the money for things, and that's kind of heartbreaking to hear.
Speaking to that, I found an article, and it was actually research based in San Jose, and it was on the relationship between homelessness and delinquency. So with youth who have been in and out of foster care, in juvie and such, and so half of the youth that they leave actually, either they ran away from home, they had to leave, but half of them were actually asked to leave home, their parents or their legal guardians. So that's a really high correlation if you think about, the loneliness aspect of it. Not only are they hungry and cold, they really don't feel like they have anybody.
Yeah, I also read some things about that too, that they were forced to leave, and it was super hard to live out there. And adding on to the loneliness, I actually had interviewed a homeless guy. My dad's friend's actually homeless. And I was able to talk to him, and I had asked him how does loneliness come upon your life? And he just said that he loses a lot of friends and family members from being homeless, and it really impacts his life because he feels like he has nothing left to fight for, which is really, really sad. You wouldn't think loneliness really impacts them, but they have no one. So having that kind of touched me. I'm just oh wow, I didn't even think about that. I'm over here thinking that you guys are trying to survive, but they really need that person to feel what they need to keep striving for,
Just to go back to what Nikki said, and what you said too, Catherine, found a statistic that was released in 2002 from the National Coalition for the Homeless, and it said that 35% of homeless youth lived in shelters, and then 34 doubled up with friends or family, and then 23% lived in motels. So like, there's definitely a difference between like being without a house and then actually like living on the street. So I think when we think of our solutions, we should definitely narrow down which group we want to help more.
Yeah.
Because I know like doubling up with a family member or a friend, like it's better than being on the street, but it's still creating the same mental health as being on the street. Yeah, they get more, they get warmth during the winter, and they get food probably from like the friends and family, but it's not the same thing as being like with your own family, having that support.
A lot was just saying that it comes from like instability of like home and stuff like that, and then also on like who the problem affects. There's a San Jose government website that I found that talked a lot, and this is just from 2017, so it's pretty recent, and just saying that approximately 4,350 people are homeless, and about 74% of them are uncovered, so or are like don't have shelters and things to go to, but about 26 are like in places like in homeless shelters or crashing in people's garages or whatever they can do, or even in their cars. So it's a pretty big difference in just who has somewhere to sleep and who's in the elements outside.
74% is a really big number
Yeah.
to be uncovered.
And then I found another article as well. It talked about how like the loneliness aspect, and I learned off the website an article online off Reader's Digest. The author says Hollywood and TV shows give the homeless a bad rap, making them look like murderers and rapists, but majority are simply trying to find food and shelter, just like you. This guy was actually homeless for 20 years, and he was able to change his life around. And I think in our society, we have like a bad perception of homeless individuals. And one of the articles I was reading, it was like, name the last time you actually walked down the street and you acknowledged a homeless man. I think that was pretty eye-opening to me, because most of the time it's like, oh, just walk away, like don't talk to them. And I think it's instilled to us like at a young age, like, hey, don't talk to strangers. But sometimes it's just simply, hey, how are you doing? They feel like, oh, I actually care. I'm someone in this world. I'm not just someone who's laying on the ground, you know. And I think just taking that time, and like I said, I think they just have a bad rap. And majority, they didn't choose to be homeless. It was because they were forced to be. There was a reason behind it.
Yeah, with loneliness, it also causes like a lot of mental illness and stuff, because it causes you to be isolated. So I think, like, even if you're unable to give money or food at that moment, maybe just like, hey, how you doing? That can go towards solutions.
From personal experience, like I've been volunteering at Sacred Heart, and they definitely help on working with the homeless and like trying to get people off poverty. And I work in like the food pantry, so like I hand out food to them, and I can tell who's been homeless for a longer amount of time and like who's just like gotten into the poverty section, I guess, because of how social they are. Like one woman, she just recently lost her job, and she was like very social. You could tell that she's really bright, and we could make like conversation pretty regularly. But then other people, like they don't have teeth, so they can't like eat anything. But then they also have been away from like regular society, like fast-paced societies for so long that they don't know how to communicate properly. So like they just point at their teeth, and I have to kind of like guess on what they're saying, and then either like I have to like pick up a pack of yogurt or whatever and like point it and they like either nod or shake their head. So it's definitely, it's hard to see, but it helps to know that like I'm trying to help them. But it's still really sad to see that being away from society for so long can like, kind of make you isolated, and you can lose some of your social interactions.
Yeah, and just let you guys know we're about 9 minutes, so if we want to take a couple more minutes to wrap up any other information.
Well, this kind of goes on to mental illness, because alcoholism. And 50%, I think we looked at the census report from San Jose in 2017. 50% of people are suffering from drug or alcohol addiction, and that makes it really, really difficult to get off of the streets. Not only because it's an emotion, because it is a mental illness, it's really hard to overcome mentally, but physically, when people go through those withdrawals, they're already malnourished, they're already sick, and that can just make their body even sicker, which I think is something that really handicaps their ability to function.
I can add on to that because on the article that I found, problems faced by homeless people, they stated that they rather be in the streets than go in the homeless shelters because in the homeless shelters there's about like drugs and smoking and it's really hard. So they rather just be in the streets and not get that support because the environment of getting the support is just like negative and it doesn't help them. So being on the streets is like making them stronger.
Like, like it almost seems like the support is conditional, like you only deserve this if you aren't an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
And just to like go to the other side of it, like, having the police and laws like kind of kicking the homeless off the streets. A study or an article that I found that explains public support for counterproductive homelessness. The policy and then like the role discussed from society's point of view, I guess. They say that in recent years, like state and local governments have increasingly enacted policies such as like bans on panhandling and sleeping in public that are counterproductive to alleviating homelessness. So like they're trying to put in these laws that like I guess please like the residents in the areas where the homeless people are, but they're not really taking into account how the homeless feel about that because they're already isolated from society by like being looked down on and having like a negative rep, like with what you were saying. So I think just making sure that both like the law understands both sides of like the residents' point of view and the homeless point of view. That would definitely be a good step in the right direction.
And one more thing. According to like the Mercury News, I think it was back in 2016, they went and wiped out. It was called the Jungle, and the Jungle was like a big thing off Story Road. It's kind of near Happy Hollow, and it's like really big. And I think it's hard because like I think that they have all their necessities. They come in and the police gives them probably like a 24-hour number. Like you have this amount of time to move out. If not, they just go in there with like cleaning crews and just start dumping all their stuff. Like can you just imagine like, oh, I just recently got all this stuff, now it's gone. So I think it's just like also like I think them being understanding and giving them that proper time to move out and not just throwing their stuff because it's hard for them to get in the first place.
What they have left.
Yeah.
Did everyone have a chance to do their research?
Yeah.
Yeah, are we all good to move on? Yeah, okay. Moving on to brainstorming.
So one thing that I was thinking of is partnering with like hairdressers and like clothing stores to volunteer some of their time to make the homeless more presentable in society in hopes that they find jobs.
I like that.
Yeah, I found something, or I did something like that as well. Like, kind of called it like a CU day or something, just for lack of better words at the moment, of just, doing things to partner with people.
What did you call it?
CU day, so just like we see you.
Okay.
I also had one that was like I guess kind of changing the perception, which was like involving the youth, basically to teach them the importance of giving back, and even like making goodie bags or like a little bag with the basic necessities in it.
Oh, she's starting. I don't know.
No, go ahead.
Mine would probably be interview homeless people to actually ask them what they need. I know Michelle had mentioned in class that she was giving out bagels and it was kind of hard for them to eat bagels. So maybe we can interview them.
Yeah. I know I had one that was kind of holiday centered. since we're coming up. I guess it kind of does go along with like the goodie bags, but we could make holiday cards to give them, and make like little holiday gifts. Yeah.
I think, I know this might sound a little bit crazy, but I think it could be doable. Is like, I know on Amazon you can create like a big list and then share it with people and they can go on there and buy stuff. And I think with that, like, if you let them know, like, hey, what it's gonna be, and basically let them know at the end of it, there's gonna be like a video for them to see. So a finished product, so I guess creating an Amazon list.
Like an Amazon registry?
Yeah, like, yeah, kind of like when you have a baby.
Okay, yeah.
I think with more time, we could create a blanket drive and like people could volunteer to make blankets for the homeless so they have like something to keep them warm during the winter. And that's something nice to sleep on too.
Yeah.
They don't have to sleep on the ground.
I think an obvious one is just volunteer at a homeless shelter.
Yeah. I think another one is like, instead of donating your stuff to the Goodwill or like those charities, you could possibly just take your stuff and then maybe donate it, see if a homeless person would like it.
So like donation bins?
Yeah.
I know we're at 10, but to add another one, which is something easy I think we could all do. Like if you have extra like snacks or things, you just leave them in your car. So if you ever see anything, you can just pass out really quickly.
Okay.
You
Yeah?
guys,
Yes, I am great.
Okay.
And we're at 16 minutes. So
okay.
Okay, so we can really dissect every single brainstorming idea.
So partnering with local hairdressers. I know I have a friend who's a hairdresser, so we could, I do have a connection there. How would we make flyers and pass those out to the homeless?
Yeah, or we could bring one of the like hairdressers to Sacred Heart because there's like a lot of people going in and out.
Oh, that's really
And
smart.
instead of like getting all the homeless people to go to like one
That's-
spot, maybe bring one person to like a big spot.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think that your hairdresser will want to be interested in doing that, like without pay?
Yeah, it's pro bono
I
kind of.
could,
It's
I
kind
could
of
ask
getting
her.
back.
Yeah. We'll. That's a maybe.
That's a good.
That's a
Yeah.
maybe.
Does everyone think that's a maybe?
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that'd be the only downfall is like them kind of giving up their time.
Yeah.
And, just to like go back to our problem, it's not really helping with like the loneliness
The-
of basic necessities.
Yeah.
It's more just like helping with the appearance.
Yeah.
I agree
So
with that.
maybe we could tie that into another solution
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think the blanket drive is a really good idea,
Mhm.
but I don't know, because I was looking at, because I was thinking, which actually goes along with a lot of these, like goodie bags. You can't legally, because I was looking because I know Michelle was saying, she did something with the table, but you need a permit for a table. I looked up, maybe if I don't have a table, like it's a loophole, but you actually can't pass out
Yeah.
food or clothing at a park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that kind of makes it difficult to do.
I also agree with the blanket drive. I think it's we don't have enough time.
Also, I think money,
Yeah.
and also like money-wise, cost.
So you guys all agree about passing that one off?
Yeah.
That we can
Um,
save that for a different
I
time.
do
Yeah.
like the Amazon registry because I know like emergency blankets and stuff like that. Like you can always see if they have something there.
yeah.
That, so instead of like physically making or buying them,
Yeah.
then we buy them in a different way.
I
A
do
little bit
the-
smaller and easier
or-
to hold on.
The only downfall for that is because of like the recent fires, people might not want to like donate to us and more like to the fire
Bigger
fund.
prevention.
Yeah.
So if anything, we could probably chip in instead and just be like, thank you for those of you who donated. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
So-
they don't have enough.
I think that we should still have it, even if it's worth a try.
Yeah,
Like
for
even
sure.
if we don't, we can still have it out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
also-
then anything helps. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like homelessness is a big problem, and I know the fire is just a big problem too. I think it's just kind of maybe they can be like, hey, you know what, I'll give $10 here and $10 here, or
Yeah.
whatever. That way,
Exactly.
they do both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So number 7, we all think is like a possibility.
Yeah.
We just start that one.
Yeah, let's start that.
And
I-
then I think the extra snacks, I know I do this, but I don't think it's enough to like make a project out of. Are you good if I cross this
Oh,
off? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I was
And
thinking,
we gotta have, like,
eat them too.
Yeah, specific to that. I think number 5 like some of the pros that I see about that is that we were able to know what they want, but also I think some of the downfalls is that not every homeless person might feel comfortable talking to you or like talking to any of us. Like, this is what I need. Sometimes they kind of just stay to themselves and they're kind of don't want people bothering them.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys think about that.
I'm kind of mixed about it because I have gone up to someone before and just been like, hey, what can I get you something right now? Is there anything? And they were really responsive about that. But I can also see the downside to it. So maybe it's something where we go up and go, hey, can I interview you? And if they come back with like harsh comments or just not being able to go, okay, have a nice day, and then we can move on.
Well, especially if you have to videotape it too. Like some people might not want to be on camera
Yeah.
because like they're ashamed of their condition or something like that.
Yeah, that is true.
I guess asking
So
before.
I think, asking them for permission, maybe like, hey, can I talk to you? Can I have a couple questions for you? And like, maybe be on camera and letting them know ahead of time.
Yeah. And then I think
I'm gonna say.
with teaching the youth about the homeless, I think this is a really good idea, but it doesn't really directly involve the homeless, which I think should be the main focus, is getting them their necessities, making them feel
I think,
valued.
but with that, I think what we can do is we can essentially tie some of the stuff, like, I think it's like to make the goodie
The
bags.
goodie bags?
Yeah, so like
Okay.
you can have kids pack the bags for them, and maybe they could throw like a sticky note in there, which is like
So
a
kind
motivational
yeah.
thing. Maybe like, I know there's a website that's like Random Acts of Kindness,
of,
and
yeah.
it's like, oh hey, like it's basically just quotes, like motivational quotes. And I'm pretty sure some like students will be able to do that and be interested. And I think they would see like once you show them like the final product, I think they'll feel like, oh my god, I made a difference, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
only, the only thing is, because we can't pass them out at the park, so if we made these goodie bags and then went to like a soup kitchen and then passed them out there, but the only thing is like how many?
Like I know the local shelter, like at work, every time I have like leftover snack, I take it to them and drop it off, and they usually take whatever we give them.
Yeah,
And it can be like boxes, it can be like a small box, and
okay,
so they're basically open to taking anything
okay.
because they know it's gonna help out.
Yeah, I do that too. They're grateful for any small
Yeah.
thing they get.
Yeah,
I do like the idea about the soup kitchen. I do know someone who like volunteers there about once a week, so I can always talk to them about like if we would be able to do that and to go in and just to give a little extra help.
yeah. So what's looking like the best solution here? 'Cause I think, because you guys work with kids, you'd be
Yeah.
able to get them to make cards.
If we like tie in, we're gonna probably tie in a couple of them. I think if we do number 7 and then 3 and 4, because like you have the kids involved and that
Yeah.
kind of helps them like change the perspective. Because I'm homeless, so I'm pretty sure some of them are scared of them.
Yeah,
And also, I think also like this is kind of going above and beyond, like having an Amazon registry, spreading the word through the community, and
Yeah.
that could be like sharing it on our social medias. And I know you say that your sister is like part of a church group,
Mhm.
so like that would be really well.
Mhm.
That's what I think. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that's good, but I just think we have to give it logistically, like legally, to someone else to give out, someone who has a permit to give it out, like a shelter, Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can add number 9 as well.
Yeah.
With that, just so we volunteer, not really volunteer time, but just give the bags to them and then
Yeah.
they could pass out.
Or maybe we can go to the shelter and then
Yeah,
help
and
them,
then-
us pass
Okay.
it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
For sure.
So I think number 1 is a no go,
Yeah.
right?
Is everyone okay with crossing out number 1?
Yeah.
1 and 2 kind of
One
like
and
go
two.
together, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
I think with the time constraint too, it's a little bit harder to make that happen
Yeah.
at this moment.
Yeah, it's kind of a short notice.
And you already kind of know what the homeless need, because you volunteer
Yeah.
at Sacred Heart.
They
You can
come
give
in
us-
for like food and clothes.
You can give us a good idea, because,
For sure.
yeah, so I think it's looking like we're gonna be doing an Amazon registry, sending it to our friends saying, hey, if you have like $10, buy something off this list, put in bags, and then take it to a shelter.
Yeah, I think that'd be it.
So
I
how,
think that'd
And then
be
have kids put notes in it too.
yeah, I was gonna clarify that. Like, how are we gonna put involve the youth in? So the youth will make bags.
Yeah, so maybe the youth could pack up the bags for them, like all
Okay.
like little Ziploc bags with toothbrushes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
They
then
can put sticky notes in.
yeah, you put like a couple sticky notes, and then that way when they get it, they open it, or they can put like like a big card in the front, like Happy Holidays, because it's gonna be during the holidays.
Yeah, like
Okay.
a nice picture or something. Something to brighten
Yeah.
up their day.
That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
What about everyone else?
Donation bins. We're kind of doing like our own kind of
Yeah.
donation things, so we
Mhm.
can cross that out.
Okay.
So I think it's these three right here is what we're looking at.
Okay.
Well, then that's perfect timing because we're just about at 25 minutes.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Can we all live with the solution?
Yeah.
All right, compliments for this team. If you haven't spoken yet, I'd love to hear your voice.
You guys did awesome. It kind of makes me want to like join you guys.
Me too.
I love all the ideas you guys had. There was a lot of negotiating grace. I was doing your thing, so I really like how you kind of look at the pros and cons, and you did really like a good job at bringing it back to your actual pieces, but your actual focus. You brought it back there every time. Yeah, really good analysis.
I'm not sure because I wasn't keeping time, but like, pretty sure you guys were like within that 3-4-ish minutes for brainstorming.
3 minutes, 17 seconds.
So, and you had 11 ideas, so like that, I don't think any other group stayed within that like 3 or 4, maybe, I don't know, but you guys definitely knocked that one out of the park, nice job.
Around the estimation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like how you really took in like the homeless people's, like how their comfort zone into consideration, because I feel like a lot of people don't do that. You know, like their own personal comfort. So that was cool.
Thank you.
I really like Anthony's idea for the registry kind of thing, because you know everything's so modern now. Everyone has Amazon. It's easy to donate with that. And I like how you guys had other ideas instead of just the typical just go volunteer.
Hello, I haven't seen you three in a little while, so, so yeah. But yeah, I think that the ideas that I really like is how you guys were talking about sales, so about something that's good with advertisement. I think one of you did mention about that $10 sale, something with that if you get $10 then we'll take the deal with it. So I like how the ideas giving people out on special deals for how they'll help the homeless community out there.
Anybody else? So Jack kind of stole my thought. He didn't steal my thought, but it actually shows that a lot of us are on the same page. When you moved so quickly through brainstorming, and it wasn't like you just were throwing out ideas without giving them thought. You thought them before you brought them to the table. I thought you did an excellent job with brainstorming. I also thought that with consensus, it allowed you to spend more time in consensus, and I felt like it was a real natural conversation. There was some, small disagreements, but not in a bad way, right? That's what consensus is all about, is sharing your perspective. What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? Grace, I thought you did an awesome job focusing on hey guys, we got to make sure that our solution really connects to the problem that we researched. That was excellent, because I was actually thinking the same thing. And so I'm really glad that you brought that up. I thought your team had good flow. I thought you really looked at various ways to get involved. You're not taking the easy route. You're taking routes that I think are really meaningful and impactful. Something that I want to share with you, and we can talk a little bit more later as well from a time perspective, but something that some of your combination of ideas for consensus, you didn't really necessarily look into the analysis part of it. So I would be a little bit mindful. It's not that you can't do those things. I think whatever you do, it's going to be super impactful. But one thing that you really researched was about loneliness and about this idea of making homeless feel a part of the community and to have that human kind of contact with them. And so I think it's important that you don't remove that from your solution if time runs short.